But you see that a lot of times this happens with Filipinas. And it happens because they need to take care of their family.
Filipinos believe in
I know.
work first or something. You have to dream first,
Okay.
settle down.
That's why I moved here, you know, to be with Kay. She didn't care where I was coming. She just wanted love. Yeah, guys, thank you for watching the Black Filipino TV. So I asked Tay was she date a foreigner. She said one day.
Someday, but as for now, I'm too young for dating, so...
You're not too young.
Ilan taong ka na ba,
See,
She's 22.
no.
But sir, we Filipinos believe in
I know.
work first or something. You have to dream first,
Okay.
settle down.
Yeah.
That's what we believe.
That's because of the
Because,
family.
Filipinos are already trained, di ba? We're already trained that you
Yeah.
work hard, and then a certain age, like for example, 26, 27, that's the time you get married. Yeah.
But as you've seen from the clip there, this happens a lot in the Philippines. Kay even spoke up on it. It's a sad situation. I'll explain why. It's sad. Because what happens is you have a lot of Filipinas that end up putting their life on hold for their family. Guys, it's about to rain, so I'm gonna get out of the rain. Let's walk out. Let's walk over here. Oh, it's raining. We're gonna walk over here because it's pouring right now. We're gonna keep all this in the video too, guys. Oh, so you guys see the. All right, so now we out of the rain. See, it's pouring too. All right, so see what happens is it's a sad situation because right, you have Filipinas. With Filipinos, it's different because it's a man, right? But you see that a lot of times this happens with Filipinas, and it happens because they need to take care of their family or they need to, and that's most of the reasons why. I don't know if it's like that for Kay. You know, a lot of families that grow up poor and they have to work. Or if not, if they do worry about their love life, then they bring their families with them. That's fine. But what happens is a lot of times there's ladies out there, Filipinas, they won't focus on that. They won't focus on looking for love. They won't focus on that at all. And what happens is they get washed up by the wayside, you know? Meaning they get to an age or they get to a certain way where they're undesirable anymore. Maybe they'll just focus on making money only and stop taking care of themselves. And it happens all the time. I've even seen situations like that with family members, you know, where they focus on their career so much, they forget about love. You can't do that. This is what happens. Where I'm from, that's what women are actually taught. And they're taught that here too somewhat, you know, and it's a little scary. It's a little bit scary. And because what makes it scary is they don't realize till it's too late. Like for instance, they say the age, and Kay said herself, was around 25 to 29, right? Kay said 25 to 29. But when you're around 29, you're in the danger years, okay? You're in the years where you're getting close to those years where it's gonna be hard because that doesn't mean that you're necessarily gonna find that love unless you're already talking to the person. You understand? Like it should be already something that's in preparation because by the time 25 to 29, okay, even as a Filipina, you start to become less desirable. You understand? Because I spoke with the lady. She was 22 years old, right? And I felt she was a pretty woman. I felt she was a gorgeous woman, right? I can tell on her face, man, she was pretty. Nowhere near Kay, but she was pretty. Waiting until you're 28, 29, you don't know how you're gonna be at that time. You don't know how you're gonna age. What happens? You develop a bad habit of eating too much, you know? And you become extremely undesirable. Now that 28 to 29 leads to 34, 35, 36, 37. And there's some Filipinas. See, now things are switching over from the West, and you guys know, you've been here. Have you been in the Philippines to start noticing Filipinos are getting bigger? Not just taller, that's fine. Filipinos are getting wider, okay? And what happens is when a woman waits from 22, the golden age she was at, I'm not trying to bash her at all. Much love to her. But when a woman goes from that 22 years old age to 30, maybe she develops a habit of going out and drinking with friends, right? And then she does the same thing women in the West do. It can happen. And it does happen, especially in cities. It can even happen in the province, you know? And what happens is you're waiting closer to those years when you're undesirable. Look at China, look at Korea. Look at all the women that are in there like, that are just hit 30 and that are left alone, you know? Guys are not desiring them. So this thing, it's different when Filipinos do it. It's a man, he can have kids anytime. It's different with men and women. And that's what, it's sad and why I think it's not really necessarily a good thing to do, okay? Of course you gotta focus on family. Of course you're gonna take care of family. But as a woman, a young woman, okay, you can't waste your prime years. Those are prime years, you know, you can give to a man and give to your husband and give to your family. You know, and there's a lot of Filipinos that get it right, where they have to love and they still help out with their family. There's some that do get it right. There's some that, you know, focus on their family and also they find a love of their life. They're better situated because of it. You know, they'll say, okay, you know what? I'm gonna get my man. I'm going to go off, get a career, like say they'll go off being OFW, then they'll come back and say, you know what, I'm gonna have a family. And they do it at an age early enough. You're really sacrificing yourself. And they may not realize that, because what happens is they get older and then you have those same Filipinos, they still looking at those younger women. Like for instance, guys, I remember one day I was going around one day, right? It was the other day actually. And I seen an older guy with a much younger woman. He had been like, he was about 50 years old and this woman was like in her mid-20s, right? So a lot of times these Filipinas, you know, they don't want to go for somebody that's way older than them, but then they wait, and then that same guys that are around their age bracket, of course, they may not be looking at them anymore. Because in the Philippines, Filipinos here, a lot of times they go for the pick of the litter and they get it because they're from here, you know? So what happens is these women are waiting and it's just something you shouldn't do. You know, don't be like, what happens is they be like women in the West and already we have the music here, so women are already influenced by it. And I'm sure feminism is creeping in too. So please, please, ladies, keep your eyes focused. And to any Filipinos out there watching that's young, okay, you have to think about yourself as well. I know you love your family. Never leave your family alone. It's different. In the States, people leave their families alone. There's still a lot of people that take care of their families, but a lot of times you'll find situations where, I remember when I was doing like one of those one call things where you like, help, I can't get up. I was selling that, right? And I would get old people on the phone. They would try to keep me there. You would have to rush them off the phone. You couldn't have too much time on the phone. They always watched your call time because old people would be on there. They'd be like, oh, they would tell you their stories. Oh, my daughter doesn't come to see me anymore, or my son stopped coming to see me. And then they'd tell you about their story, and then we had to usually upsell. And they always bought. And I always felt bad when they bought it because they were easy to upsell because I would listen. And then I would have to tell my manager, you know, I know my wait time or my hold time, not hold time, my call time is long, but I would always make sure I was selling products and they were easy to sell. Because I would turn back around and say, oh, well, you know, they're not going to be there. So that means you're not going to have someone if something happens. So you need this extra security. You know, then you can sell them something else. And they say, oh, well, yeah, I may need that. And I would feel bad, like, because these people need help, you know, and I love Filipinos for doing that. And that's a good thing. It makes me look at my parents, you know, even more differently now. And of course, I love them already, but, you know, I want to make sure I can provide for them when they're in their years or they're in their time when who knows, you know, maybe they're from the baby boomer years. They're from those years, but maybe it'll be a time when that's going to run out. So I want to make sure I'm secure enough to take care of them. But still, I love it from Filipinos that they do that. You know, I'm saying to keep that. Don't leave that tradition, but also think about yourself. Think about you having a family. Think about that. Think about you finding love. To the Filipinos out there, think on it. You know, that's why I asked her, would you date a foreigner? She said, oh, I would, but maybe in the future. And what happens if the future is not promised? What happens if you don't make that bag? You know, and you hear that in the US, women say, I gotta get to the bag. What happens if that bag doesn't come? And you wasted all that time, and now you're not the pick litter anymore. Now what happens, you know, you do this, you don't take the time out to seek marriage, and then you end up finding somebody, and then having a baby, and it's crazy, because it happens to women out here in the Philippines too, guys. It does. You guys know already. You see it. But that's all I say to that is it's just a sad situation that Filipinos get caught up in that, because they're not men, you know? They're not men. Like, their younger years are precious. So it's sad that happens. So with all that being said, guys, I want to thank you for watching the Black Filipino TV. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I got more content coming, guys. And also, be sure to buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/JTBF. Thank you, and see you next video. Peace.